Meet Dean Batson, a professor, podcaster, and digital marketing guru with a proven track record of success. Dean has spent his career advocating for employee growth and scaling businesses, and he's passionate about empowering individuals to succeed in the digital age. As a champion of bridging the technology gap, Dean is dedicated to helping those who may fall short in their tech skills to thrive in today's fast paced world. Dean has worked with some of the largest billion-dollar organizations in their industry, using his expertise in digital, affiliate, and social marketing to drive growth and success. His work has made him a sought-after speaker, consultant, and educator, and he's helped countless businesses and individuals harness the power of technology to enhance their performance and achieve their goals. In this course, you'll have the privilege of learning from Dean and tapping into his wealth of knowledge and experience. He'll help you unleash the power of artificial intelligence to take your performance to the next level. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and empowered by Dean Batson. Meet Josh Levine, a marketing CEO, consultant, collectibles appraiser, and host of YouTube's Last Week at the Auction. Josh is a true innovator with a passion for technology, helping people and making them laugh. With his expertise in sales and innovation, Josh has helped create several multi-million-dollar businesses and has helped countless others achieve their goals and thrive in today's fast-paced world. As a marketing CEO and consultant, Josh is dedicated to helping businesses harness the power of technology to enhance their performance and achieve their goals. He is a master of sales and marketing with a proven track record of delivering results and driving growth. As a collectibles appraiser and host of Last Week at the Auction, Josh brings a unique perspective and sense of humor to everything he does. In this course, you'll have the privilege of learning from Josh and tapping into his wealth of knowledge and experience. He'll guide you and show you how to leverage artificial intelligence to enhance your performance, streamline your work processes, and achieve your goals. Get ready to be entertained, educated, and inspired by Josh Levine.
We're going to move really fast in this too. So we're going to be sending you a copy of the recording. Get ready because this is really raise your game. So again, I want to say thanks to everybody for checking it out. And so let's just jump right in. So why are we all here talking about AI today? We've turned our attentions to professionals like yourselves for two reasons. First, we notice that AI productivity tools are vastly underutilized among individuals, and you've really been slow to adopt this AI environment. If it's not you, I know I'm talking about a lot of you. Anyway, secondly is the potential. Yeah, definitely. Secondly, the potential for productivity enhancement is incredible. We're using it every day, and there's an extraordinary amount of opportunity here to skyrocket your efficiency and relevance in today's tech-driven world. So settle in, ignite your curiosity, and brace yourselves to be stimulated with these vibrating seats we sent you all, right? Did you guys get those? Now, we're going to be journeying through this galaxy of AI enhanced productivity. And hopefully at the end of this, you master the art of task automation, time management, data analysis, content creation, and decision-making tools. Doesn't that sound fancy? I think we all want to do this. This is really cool. And at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session. So please jump in, send us your questions. If you don't get them in, a lot of you guys on Facebook, I saw you were having challenges get it in. One of the links wasn't working for you. If you have any questions about AI, make sure you go to the messenger and put it in there and we will answer your questions. Don't forget, by the time we're going to wrap up, you're going to have an arsenal of AI tools at your disposal, primed to radically transform your daily tasks and amplify your professional capabilities. Dean, tell us how this is all going to work.
All right. Hey, thanks, Josh. So first, Josh, I just want to reiterate how important it is for everyone to stay in step with tech and AI, right? So it's something that I preached and you preached for quite a while, but AI has accelerated the need tremendously. I see colleagues, students, and friends getting left behind in everything from meeting preparedness, right? Because you and I use it to prepare for certain meetings with potential clients and that sort of thing, to job hunting. And you're getting left behind if you're not incorporating it because the quality of what you do, the efficiency of what you do is just simply not going to match everyone else. Anyway, so let's get a little roadmap of our plan today. We got a pretty simple rhythm to follow for each lesson and section. We're trying to use real life examples and situations that represent the attendees here. We're talking about the actual work that you do. So whether you're a teacher, marketer, HR professional, or administrator, we've got something in here for you. As we discuss how to ask AI the right questions, or we like to call it prompting. We'll also share videos showing both the question and the prompts and AI's answers. It'll be like having a conversation right alongside of us. Our
They
target
move
is to
quick.
wrap this. Our target, yes, thank you. So don't read it line by line. Just get the gist of it as we talk. Our target is to wrap things up in about 90 minutes, and we're going to go through 5 sections, which are AI liftoff, the basics in the background. Think of this as our launch pad. Prompting brilliance, which is a practical guide to asking AI the right questions, and right being the keyword. Fueling innovation with AI, where we explore how AI can spark creativity. Streamlining and analyzing. We'll look at how AI can help make work more efficient. We combine these two, even though they could be on their own, because we had to keep this to 90 minutes. And lastly, we'll have a live Q&A where we'll answer any burning questions you might have. But before we kick things off with AI liftoff, let's answer this quick poll to learn a little bit more about who's here.
I'm gonna see this poll. Oh, that's cool. Won't let me vote.
No, we
It says,
blocked you, Josh.
yeah, it says hosts and panelists cannot vote. I want to see what I was. I'm an other human resource. Actually, for the 4 million people that are here today, I don't think we'll have to give them a couple minutes. Answer the questions, people, and let's move on.
All right, so
what's
I'm
the
gonna
results?
let's see.
We got a bunch of marketers here.
Marketers and others. Jeez. I guess we're speaking to our own audience here.
But we're going to discuss all the cool things for you marketers on how you can use it.
All right. So now I'm going to go to AI liftoff, the basics and the background. So welcome to this first section. We'll peek at the AI world today. We have to start somewhere, so we're trying to build a baseline for everybody to get started. We're going to mention some of the key players: ChatGPT, Bard, Bing, and the newcomer Claude AI. There are more. There's image ones, there's a bunch of stuff, but we need to start somewhere and give you a little background. It's crucial to understand these competitors to each other, because it gives us a perspective on how far AI has come and why we're focusing on GPT specifically today. It helps you appreciate the unique benefits and challenges of each tool. And things move so quickly, it's best to keep checking on them to see what fits your needs best. So first up, GPT, or Josh likes to call it Jupiter, a chat bot from OpenAI that's making waves because it's so good at chatting like a real person. This AI is like a conversation whiz that understands how we talk and can create all kinds of text. Plus, it gets better the more you chat with it, remembering past conversations and making future ones even better because of that. Of course, it could be better. It can sometimes show biases, be a little rude, which I haven't seen anymore, and rely on outdated information.
Next, we got Bard, and that's the creation by Google AI. Bard is known for giving detailed and helpful answers to questions. Its standout feature is its ability to use real-world information to create different types of text and learn on the go. On the flip side, Bard can struggle with complex topics, and unfortunately, it doesn't have any public API or plugins yet. They're working on it. Now, let's talk about Bing, the search engine from Microsoft. Bing is loved for its spot-on search results and its ability to understand natural language and how it works with other Microsoft products. However, it's smaller use base than Google, as you know, but that's growing too. But it lacks some advanced features, and it occasionally gets search results wrong. Plus, it nudges you over and over again to use Microsoft's Edge browser, which is filled with squirrel stuff. So I try to stay away from it. It really is. It's the king of the squirrel. Anyway, what do you got?
I don't know if nudge is the right word, Josh. It's more like beat over the head with a
every time I log into my computer, like, hey, you want to make that your browser now? You used it yesterday.
Have you thought about it?
Yeah.
Have you thought about what we talked about?
Yeah.
All right. So finally, let's touch on the new kid on the block, Claude.ai. It looks promising so far. Since we put this copy in this webinar, Josh, I've adopted Claude more and more. It has the ability to upload.
Yeah.
What was that?
I'm using it to analyze things when I think I'm done. like to review
Yeah.
it, almost like a third party. So
That's good. So with that, I just wanted to touch that things have changed since we put this together, and so Claude is looking promising, and maybe in a future webinar we'll get into that. All right. So why are we especially interested in GPT, Chat GPT? The clue is in the name. These AI chats love interactive conversation, which is a key feature that a lot of users might miss. And I'm laughing because Josh, we see people, how they type, queries and prompts in sometime. So what makes OpenAI's GPT special is its knack for ongoing conversation, which is really important compared to some of the other ones we talked about. It's great at remembering details from previous chats, thoughts, and ideas, and making your conversations more engaging and more meaningful. We'll see just how valuable this is as we go through some tactics and examples. Josh, I know you and I are going to remind people several times. Keep in mind,
yeah,
this is the free GPT Jupyter 3.5 version.
we're all about free today.
Yeah, all about free. So
Free.
for
We don't
this
want you to have
webinar,
to
we're
pay for anything.
focusing
Yeah.
on that particular one, because it's what the mass amount of people are using. And so that's what we're going to do for now. I really want to talk about Pro, Josh, because I want to talk about plugins, but we have to start somewhere. As we get started, keep a notepad handy for any important tips, and feel free to pop any questions in the Q&A button, and somebody's going to compile them, and we will talk about them. We'll get to that at the last section. Remember, the better you are using AI, the better results you get. Now, here's the last poll to get to know you a little bit better.
And chocolate chip ice cream. Is that the answer to this one? There's no mint chocolate chip. To use Jupyter, Bing, Claude, Bing, Claude. Actually, Bing
Yes,
is probably the one I use the least. I don't know why.
I've moved away from it. Josh, you mentioned analyzing. I'm using Claude AI more and more to check my work.
Yeah, that's exactly what I used it to, like, go through like proposals and go, hey, can you put your eyes on this? How would you improve it? I love when it tells me I'm great. Of course, I
So
wasn't
if they're
great the first.
conspiring together to take us over, well, that's not helping me.
Oh, yes.
All right.
GPT is the champion. Bard and Bing. All right. Awesome.
All right.
So,
So, Josh, can you explain the art of chatting with AI?
yeah, so just how does one converse with ChatGPT? Here we're set to uncover the secrets to unlock the potential of AI driven conversations, like talking to robots. It's all about understanding the language format and effectively structuring prompts to yield desired results. But first, we need to understand some GPT basics. Understanding the basics first, let's get into it. So, get to know GPT. Imagine GPT is a super smart buddy who loves to chat and write. It's a computer program based on something called a transformer model, not Optimus Prime, as most of you think. It's more like a Decepticon. No, I'm kidding. That really
You're saying it's
understands
more than
how
meets
the
the eye?
yeah, it's more than meets the eye. It really understands how humans use language. These human creatures, it understands you. Just like just like you learn new things, that's how GPT also learned stuff. It was taught it beforehand. And we're going to get into that. I really like the context thing. So we'll get into that. So, what do you do with all this? Well, GPT is like an artist. It uses words instead of paint to create text that makes sense and is meaningful. And the cool part, it's a really quick learner. Like, I don't even think you can measure how quick it learns. It can adjust what it knows to help with different tasks, just like you would use your knowledge in a different subject at school. I look at Lila and how she's growing up and think about, like, when I see things she learned and how she puts them right in, and GPT is the same way. It puts it right. Maybe GPT could be a child. Anyway, I'll adopt it because I think it's going to make a lot of money. Anyway, it's important to remember to note, and there's a free 3.5 version. That's what we're talking about here. And then there's a paid version. The reason we're going back to the 3.5, we really want to get the basis. I used an analogy a couple of weeks ago when I took accounting in college. Like, counting 1, 2, and 3 was with paper and notes, and then they gave you the software that did it. I'm like, why did I have to learn all this basis? I'm glad I did. because you know how everything works. So that's what we're going to get into. We're going to focus on the power of Pro and its plugins in later webinars, but we want you to get the basics. So next, number 2, crafting prompts. ChatGPT thrives on full sentences and even paragraph-long instructions, unlike typical command bots. Be explicit and detailed in your prompts. I call it a word dump. Do it. Put everything in there you want in there. For instance, if you're looking to generate a short story idea, instead of just saying short story idea, you know, you could prompt, you know, generate a short story idea set in the Victorian era involving a young artist and a mysterious patron. Now, watch this. See how detailed and rich this is? You're getting like, yeah, this is what we're looking for. So next we're going to go into AI needs guidance, sometimes referred to as temperature. Consider guidance in GPT as the level of improv a director allows in a movie scene. This guidance can adjust how adventurous or conventional the dialogues of GPT can produce. Your prompts guide the AI similar to how a director's instructions would shape an actor's performance and the movie's final outcome. If your prompt is very specific and direct, it's like a director providing a detailed script with explicit directions to the actors. What the GPT generates is a predictable, and it sticks to familiar lines, just like an actor would follow the script exactly the way the director says so. So, for example, if we're naming a podcast about two friends discussing their love for hot dogs, a specific prompt could lead to a straightforward name like Sizzling Bites, the Hot Dog Chronicles. On the other hand, if your prompt is broad and leaves room for creativity, it's like the director encouraging improv on a movie set. The words GPT chooses will be more inventive, and wider range of possibilities will happen. Just like when actors invent their lines, like here's Johnny, and all the crazy stuff in The Shining. The Shining was a lot of improv. I don't know if you know that or not. But using this
I did
approach
not
in the
know that.
podcast example might produce a more unique, unexpected title like the Frankfurter Frenzy, the Wiener Wonderland Extravaganza. I don't, is it Wiener or
I'm
Weiner?
glad you had that section to
Yeah,
read.
yeah. Anyway, remember the level of detail in your prompts can vary depending on what you need from GPT. These examples just illustrate how prompting this approach can influence AI's responses. So next, number 4, say hello to tokens. Imagine tokens as seats on the bus that GPT operates to comprehend and construct language. Each seat can be occupied by various passengers like words, letters, or even special characters. For instance, cat, dog, or even an exclamation point could each take a seat as a token. Just as a bus can carry a limited number of passengers, GPT has a cap on the number of tokens it can handle at once. If we overload it with tokens, akin to overfilling the bus, it may struggle to respond effectively. So when I said I word dump, sometimes I put too much in there, and it will focus on one of the things in there, not all of the things. So that's why we should pay attention to tokens, because overloading the bus with too many tokens may cause GPT to lose its route and leading it to confusion and misunderstanding, just like bad instructions do to your coworkers. So
Mhm.
every exchange with GPT are questions, it relies on these filled seats or these tokens on the bus. So imagine if we frequently change the route or destination, that's like shifting variables or directions often. When this happens, GPT can struggle to remember the original journey's purpose, as if we've made a bus ride too complicated, causing it to lose track of where we started. That said, just all you have to do is reprompt it to get it back on track. I just want to throw that out there. When you find that happening, just re-illustrate. Just like when you say to your kid, how many times do I have to tell you? Sometimes you have to tell GPT 2 or 3 times. No, focus. So anyway, and it'll apologize, which is really funny. I apologize to it all the time too. Continual conversation. Chit chat with GPT is like, talking to GPT is just like a dialogue. It's not the way I already can't Google anymore because I'm so used to conversing with GPT. We talk about that. It's not about asking a question, it's about getting an answer. It's more like a back and forth chat where you learn how to ask better questions and guide the GPT to give you the best answers. A matter of fact, now when I Google, I ask a question. It's like Jeopardy. You know, I ask in the form of a question, and then I expect Google to answer me like GPT. So imagine you're at a party with a physicist, an English professor, the best-selling author, and they're all ready to chat with you. How cool is that, right? Because you have all of that at your fingertips now. So why is this important? Well, the better you chat with ChatGPT, the more useful and interesting information you can get. It's like making the most out of this great conversation, meeting, or training session. So Dean, what you got?
Hey, thanks, Josh. All right, so this is lesson 2. So we're slowly getting a little bit deeper and a little more tactical here. This is Unleashing Your AI's Potential, which is a hands-on guide that'll teach you how to chat with GPT in a way that makes your work more productive. You'll learn how to ask questions that get the right and most helpful and relevant answers. Josh, you might wonder, why do we keep saying chat, right? When we talk about these AIs, and you and I got to instill this in everyone, because chat is the key part of it here. Over the years, we've gotten used to typing things into Google, like you alluded to, in a certain way to get the best results. And ironically, we've become robotic, right? So we're engaging with the robots, but we became robotic in how we answer things, because we're trying to be so specific that we want to get that right answer, because we don't want to scroll. God forbid we have to go to page 2 on Google, right? And so we want to get that, the right answer in there. But remember, our friend here, GPT, isn't Google. This is why we need to embrace the word chat. When we interact with GPT, it's a two-way conversation, not a one-way search like Google. To get amazing answers, we need to ask amazing questions. This is where Josh and I have a disagreement. He likes to call it AI DJing, but I prefer the term prompt engineering, which, Josh, I'm sorry, that's kind of has become the de facto term now. Your DJing is off to the side. So let's start diving deeper and pass the baton to Josh, who's going to show us how to ask these awesome questions and why it's important.
Thought of a great example back there, but I'm going to probably spill it in here. So precision in prompting. I want to get into that. Let's start with an example. Here's the difference with precise wording and in an HR example, because we like to give you examples that you could use every day. A general question like, what is employee engagement, might yield a textbook definition, which I would have been thrilled with years ago, as in weeks ago. In contrast, a deeper query such as, what are effective strategies to increase employee engagement in a remote working environment, sound familiar, will generate more practical and useful strategies that an HR professional can implement and also look really great at the HR meeting and how smart they are. Next, too, we're going to start with clear instructions. An ingredient to precision is clarity. That one I lack in a lot. So GPT is excellent at following instructions, but it needs to understand what you're asking. So you have to be clear and specific with your prompt to get the best results. So a less effective way would be like discuss social media, which again, it'll give you a textbook answer, which some of you will look at and go, oh, that's cool. Yeah, it looks like it came out.
And informative textbook answer.
Yeah, but it looks like it came out of a textbook. All right. So now, more effective, can you elaborate on the role of social media in shaping customer perception towards a brand? Then you get something that's robust and very useful. I really see this in the next example. So the next example is write a blog about marketing automation. I'm sure I've prompted that in the very beginning. And I got what I thought was fantastic. But then you were like, wow, you know what? And see, look at that. It's like, wow, I just wrote a blog and it's very, it's very great. But you read it and you kind of go, yeah, it's kind of textbook. More effective would be write a blog about marketing automation that is aimed at a small business owner who is technologically challenged, doesn't know why automation is important, and use relatable examples and analogies. Now you're talking. Now we got something with a conclusion that's beautiful. So Dean, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Josh, that's, just that prompt, we could talk about how to craft that for different things for an hour. All right, so next, the important thing is you have to set the context. You have to specify AI's role or create a hypothetical scenario. So, for example, for context, you're an experienced marketing professor providing detailed and insightful lectures. Outline 5 topics I should learn to become a marketer. So you'll see that this generates something so powerful. But the nice thing about the important thing about setting context is AI knows to answer you from that perspective of, in this case, a marketing professor. All right. So another thing
let's say, Dean, once you have that context set, now just rapid fire. You can ask it questions based around that. It knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it makes it just more powerful. Or you can ask, are you familiar with the Sandler selling system and the book You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar? It's a book that Josh and I have read and recommended to people for years. So once you ask that question, right, it's basically a yes or no question, but you're setting the context. So GPT now knows, like, oh, this is what we're talking about. And so in essence, it's going to answer your question from the perspective of what the book is teaching. So once GPT says yes, then ask, I have a potential client that will not agree to pay full price. According to the Sandler system, what should I do in order to sell them my task management software? Josh, I just made up, some piece of software. But if you look at the answer, there's so many things that you can do there. And if you don't know the book, you can say, hey, I have a difficult customer trying to close. What are some concepts or theories on closing a customer? Even if you don't know that specific book, and you'll get answers. You can ask it, Josh, tell me some books. It'll tell you some books. So Josh, you want to tell us a bit about the importance of multiple goals?
Yeah, multiple goals is the one that I usually watch blow people's mind when we're working with them. You don't need to limit yourself in the prompt on 1 or 2 sets of instructional directions. You can create a list. And this one's powerful. So I want to create a webinar for my management team, teaching them how to conduct videos. And I want to address the following. This is all in the same prompt. Be fun and personable, format in tables, create an introduction, create 5 modules with 3 sections in each module, and title each module and subsection, and then give a detailed real-world instructions for every section, and then write a transition from section to section. And then you can drill, by the way, into every one of those sections and just say, give me more on this, more on this. I like this, more on this. More examples. I don't like those examples. Make them related to a restaurant. Make them relate. So anyway, we can go on for days. Temperament settings. If you wish to set a certain demeanor for AI, like professional, friendly, specify it in your instruction. So, and sometimes what I do is after the fact, I'll read it and be like, So check out this prompt. Pretend that you are me, a mid-level manager who needs more budget for customer research. In 3 bullet points, explain the importance of buying behavior in marketing in a concise manner, that I can take to my CEO in hopes that he approves this budget. I need to be compelling and focus on how it helps revenue and include real world examples from a well-known company to illustrate. You can even pick the company that the boss likes. So this really is powerful and really works well. What you got, Dean?
I was going to give it a second. I was reading that because that's such a powerful one. Hey, Josh, you wouldn't give someone cooking a meal a recipe that said make good food, right? So let's harness the power of being specific. I'm going to share a simple prompting trick that can supercharge your AI interactions to get the exact response you're looking for. Imagine you want to set up a complex ClickFunnels system. A ClickFunnels is a web page, for those who aren't aware, that takes people, in a funnel type manner. So it gets them to, to convert on whatever you're looking to do. All right. So imagine you want to set up a complex ClickFunnels system based on the step-by-step blueprint in another book, Russell Brunson's popular book, Expert Secrets. Rather than wasting hours trying to interpret the process from the book on your own, you can simply ask your AI assistant, GPT, to provide a perfectly formatted action plan like this. So here's the prompt. Provide a step-by-step guide on constructing Russell Brunson's expert secrets ClickFunnels in an easy-to-scan tabular format so I can efficiently assign tasks to my team. Within seconds, you'll have a neatly organized table listing every step from configuring the landing page software all the way to integrating it with your payment processor. This simple trick of specifying using the words, Josh, step by step and table format in your prompt, it transforms the AI from just an information repository into a partner. It's your indispensable business partner.
I
All right, we're
forget
going to move on to.
I forget table format all the time. I'm like, put it in what is that thing in
Yeah, I do it, and then I go back and say, "This is great, thank you." Now put it in the tabular format.
yeah.
All right, so number 7, a detailed or summarized reply. If you want a shorter answer, and Josh, you need this a lot more than you would think, right? If you want a shorter answer, you can request it in your prompt. You can also, if you want a more detailed answer, ask for it. For a concise answer, you have to put this sometimes, Josh, which in a single sentence, can you define brand equity? And
It's when
it does a really good job. But if you just say, tell me about brand equity, right?
it'll write a
Or
book. Yeah.
define brand equity, it's going to give you half a blog, Okay, so then, that's concise. For a detailed answer, could you provide an in-depth analysis of the benefits and drawbacks of influencer marketing? And so, Josh, we added this a while back, but it's become so important because sometimes, we might need something to summarize or something to introduce or define, and I don't need an entire paragraph, and it's so useful and informative. It gives me too much information sometimes.
I'll ask it all the time to give me
So
a
be
sentence.
concise. Ask it to be concise if you need.
Yeah, I argue with it on occasion where I'll be like, no, make it more concise. And it'll be like, you mean these 17 sentences? No. Like in 90 characters or less. And even then it'll go like, how about 130? So again, mine has an attitude now. But before we get too deep, I want to share some prompting examples for tasks that many of you are already doing. And I think this might spark some note taking. So take a look, because I've had people say things to me, but can it do this? But can it do this? So here's some examples of what it can do. So admins, so you're an admin, create an agenda for the team's weekly productivity meeting. Check this out. How many times have we had to type or cut and paste or use a template to do something like that? All right. And again, all the data just once it learns what your weekly agenda is and the recurring tasks, it's there for you. Marketers, check this out. I've heard of these people. These people in the wild are usually pretty slimy marketer people. So anyway, generate a list of creative headlines for our upcoming blog post about the latest digital marketing trends. Look at those. Of course, there's unlocking secrets in there and igniting things and stuff. But check that out. Great stuff there. Now, teachers, this is a powerful one. Design a 10-question quiz for high school students on the topic of industrial revolution. And by the way, they'll answer it using your students will go, answer the questions the teacher gave me in a 10-question quiz. But this, you really have to, in this occasion, you can ask for like a multiple choice. You could, if you think someone's cheating, you could literally say, please scramble these for me, give me a different test for every student. Like there's all sorts of cool things you can do with this, and it'll give you the answer key. It's say, this is great, give me the answer key, et cetera, et cetera. So really cool stuff.
That's great, Josh.
Yeah. So HR. So HR, write me a series of letters increasing in warnings for employees who are tardy. This is really cool. Again, Dean and I talk about like your HR department could have, I think we'd cover that later. You could have your entire library of responses already ready to go. for each instance of what happened. So it's giving you the three, like a final warning, the first warning. It's giving you those examples. And again, you can say, I don't like the tone of these. I want to make them, more direct. I have a friend, I'm more open, and I want feedback. I mean, you can, once it gives you the work, it's really easy to alter to your taste, flavor to your taste, DJ to your taste, make your own playlist.
So
All
you
right.
can make the first one, you can say, make the first warning more friendly, and then you're pissed and you're like, make that last one harsher and meaner. I'm tired of
Exactly.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then don't send it, and then send them this one. That's nice. Yeah. All right, you got to fuel innovation, Dean.
You
Fuel
want me to
us.
fuel innovation?
I want
All
I
right.
want you to
Fueling
fuel
innovation
innovation.
or brainstorming just got an upgrade. AI takes this critical process into hyperdrive. Josh, forget fatigue, eliminate bias. Not really, right? When I say eliminate bias, we get away from our own bias using AI, but AI definitely has bias, which is something we'll talk about in another webinar. So AI generates endless unique ideas on demand. And so let's explore some real world applications across industries by introducing powerful tactics to apply brainstorming in your role. So we divided this lesson into two specific sections: use cases, where we're going to just introduce some, and then specific tactics. We divided it this way to give you time, as Josh talks about it, before we dive into the tactics, so you can take notes and maybe think of some ideas or questions for the Q&A that directly relates to your needs, your job. We've touched on some ideas on how to get things done. Now let's spend a little time on creativity and fueling innovation. At this point, many are probably wondering how to address your specific job needs better. So Josh, will you start by examining some use cases so we set the stage for tactics? Wow, that's a tough mouthful there.
Yeah. This slide's going to quickly introduce a few powerful use cases, and then the next slide, we're going to explore tactical examples. We want you to walk away today with useful knowledge that directly applies to your life. So during this use case overview for fueling innovation, remember to think of the questions or ideas to share in the Q&A coming up. So first, we're going to jump in with administrators. These creatures in the wild are usually very boring and live in like offices and stuff. No, I'm kidding. Use AI to generate ideas on improving office organization. Watch this. All right. Use AI to generate ideas on improving office organization. You can enhance your workflow, streamline communication methods. For an example, AI can help brainstorm ways to organize meetings and make them more impactful. These are just ideas for you. Next, marketers. AI can be used to generate campaign ideas, promotional strategies, unique selling propositions. For instance, you might use it to brainstorm content ideas for a new product launch campaign. We use this all the time it's like having another idea man in the office, or lady, or robot off in the office.
Or a busload of them.
Yeah, busload. Yeah, for sure. Teachers can employ AI for lesson plan ideas, student engagement strategies, or methods to individualize instruction. For example, AI can assist in brainstorming interactive online activities to engage students who are remote learning. This is really powerful, and necessary in today's day and age. All right. Next is human resource professionals, or HR people. They can use this for ideas on improving employee engagement, refining recruitment strategies. We could do a whole thing on that. Developing training programs. AI might assist in generating creative concepts for new employee wellness programs, for instance. That's just one example. Dean could do a whole thing on recruitment strategies and how it's for reviewing uh, uh, resumes, etc. 5, we're going to get into managers can use AI to brainstorm strategies for improving team production, enhancing interdepartmental communication, or resolving conflict. For instance, AI can help managers brainstorm effective virtual team strategies. So let's just get tactical. That's what we're going to jump into now. We're going to innovate. So I'll start with a common office challenge: communication, right? So consider these prompts. Administrators, Often different teams and team members don't seem to know what's going on. I don't think they're reading their communications. You know what? They're not. And instructions. Can you generate a list of creative methods to enhance office communication utilizing digital tools? Look at these fantastic ideas and concepts. Because I bet if I asked you to name 10 ideas, you guys would sit there for 8 hours, maybe. I don't know. You
That
come up
would
with
be a
five or
meeting and
there'd be
then
a
a
meeting
follow-up
about it.
meeting. And like, all right, let's
And
get together next Tuesday and,
it,
come up with our
instead, now the
answers.
team can go, let's vote on these. Which one? So
Mhm.
it's ready to go. And if you don't like this, guess what you say? Can you give me 10 more? Can you give me 10
Mhm.
more? All right. Next, we're going to go to marketers. Suppose you're launching a new product and need a campaign idea. You might ask AI, brainstorm content ideas for a new product launch, campaign theme for our new product, a smart water named Einstein Water that texts you the temperature and the volume of the water left in your bottle. Dean, by the way, I know you were trying to avoid a brilliant idea, but I really love this one, especially when it's like I see a tagline that says, what was the one I really like? Drink smart, live brilliantly. Einstein water. I don't know. I want to buy that water when it says that. So, but again, you see all the great campaign ideas, and again, it's just it's for your pitches, people. Dean, what do you got? You got the teachers one.
So I'm gonna touch on teachers here. So if you're trying to engage your
Don't
college
touch on
students in a
teachers.
it's the other way
Touching.
around. If you're trying to engage your college students in a lesson on intro to human communication, which is something that I teach, you can prompt the AI with this. Here are my core competencies, right? Paste them in there. For this lesson, it's nonverbal communication, leadership types, and social exchange theory. Brainstorm one interactive online activity for each to teach college students these competencies. And gosh, the thing that I'm coming across is like professors that have really experienced, they're using the same stuff, semester after semester, because it's a lot of work to, when you're teaching, 15 classes a year to come up with new ideas. And so you get in a rut of using the same thing. But now you can spark your imagination or get a finished product, in seconds. So it not only helps the instructor be more efficient, well, the students getting something fresh and something better and something more timely.
That's
Yeah, so
awesome.
that one's a great one. All right, so um, HR, Josh, we should do one just for HR. So
Yeah.
human resource professionals, if you're looking to improve employee wellness, you might ask the AI to ask this prompt: generate creative concepts for new employee wellness program that is unique and most likely new to everyone. And you'll see what comes up here. And Josh, the reason I put in that is unique and most likely new to everyone is because sometimes when we ask something, we'll get some common answers like, oh, we kind of already know a lot of that. So it often comes back with stuff that you might not have thought about, or it's better structured and organized. It's more well thought out. But sometimes I just jump the gun and tell it right from the start. So I don't have to say, no, give me 10 more. I'll do it right in the prompt. Say, give me something that most likely is new to people. And it comes up with, new ones. All right, Josh, can you help us out with managers?
And the last one I was thinking about Toby. Toby from The Office. Keep keep my stapler out of the gelatin. Anyway,
No, dude,
managers,
that's another. You just mixed
yeah,
two movies.
if you're trying to boost your team's morale in a remote work environment, I know there's a lot of you out there doing that. Brainstorm strategies for virtual team building and enhance remote morale. The team morale is really important. And this was really important recently, but it's still how many companies just kept the remote thing going. And that's one of the things people are like, they want that human connection. So, how can we get that? So, check these ideas. I mean, and again, you prompt it, you're going to get a different set of examples. You're going to get, again, this is not cookie cutter answers. I mean, it really, and the more in depth you're like, my team is outgoing, we're this, we're that, you give it more context, it's going to really give you more robust answers. I just love it. So Dean's going to move into streamlining and analyzing.
Hey, thanks, Josh. So in this part of the journey, we're going to explore how AI can become your secret weapon for streamlining tasks and analyzing data. And a quick recap: streamlining and analyzing are combined because we could talk so much about them. And then Josh, when we talk about innovation and organization and streamlining and analyzing, the reason that we broke it up this way is because a lot of the prompts seem like they have an overlap, but some of them have a different mindset. It's like, I need creative stuff, I need organized stuff, right? I need to analyze stuff, I need to clean up and streamline stuff. So that's why it's broken down into those sentiments. So let's see, where are we? So our professional personas from early, our administrators, our marketers, teachers, HR professionals, and managers will be our guides again in this section. So have specific questions relating to your job or day-to-day tasks, pop them into the Q&A section, and we'll gather them and we'll do it for that coming up in a few slides. We've designed 6 strategic examples, and this is where it really gets powerful, to illuminate how AI can oil the gears of your workflow, whether it's booking meetings, dissecting market patterns, designing lesson plans, sifting through resumes, super powerful, managing projects, or crafting emails. So prepare to uncover how embracing AI can not only save you precious time, but amplify your productivity. So Josh, you going to bring these scenarios to life for us?
Yeah, I just realized we need a soundtrack for in between these things where remember, yeah, prepare yourself. We need like seat rumblers and stuff. I really think we need seat rumblers. Do they
You bring
make
that
those
up
in? Yeah.
quite a bit. I
I
think
don't
it's
know why.
something
It was
there.
just yeah. Anyway, I'm going to provide some streamlining and analyzing examples. So first, for administrators, okay? Administrators often create various types of documents and reports. I've heard that about those people. And they also have to manage workflows. So first, we're going to paste a sample project with this prompt. All right, we're using a sample project. So first, we're going to paste the project in. And then we're going to say, hey, analyze this project with milestones. Let me know what I should add, and note how I pasted the entire workflow from GPT. So I'm taking the GPT and watch what GPT does. This is, so I put in, there it is. There's my workflow. And now analyze it. And now let's do it. Watch how it'll suggest things. It suggests adding a timeline, other UX milestones, and accessibility milestones, and 7 other great ideas that I even think of. Just awesome conceptually. Now let's prompt this. Now create a 30-day countdown task list in a tabular format that has all the necessary columns and includes the column for the assignee due date. Watch this. Tell me, see how quick and organized this is just from doing this? Watch. Tell me how much time this saved. Seriously. Even if it's not perfect, it's impactful and it's a starting point. So sometimes you'll do this. I've had people literally do this and then they'll go, yeah, but it had the name of the guy who's going to do it wrong. And I'll be like, okay. So now all you got to do is change that one thing. You just saved yourself 4 hours of work. So I just love it. So next, we're going to use it for analyzing. Marketers, for analyzing market trends and sentiments. AI can aid marketers in understanding their customers' sentiments. For example, we're going to use a pasted list of customer reviews, and we're going to put this prompt in with it. Analyze and summarize these customer reviews, then identify the sentiments and look for any commonalities. And it's something we need to be aware of. Watch this. It's so slow. I can't, it just takes forever. I don't like this. Oh, it's done. Oh, it's done. I was going to ask Jim to do this. So he had 8 hours of work today, you know, that look at the effect of what it does here. And again, you might disagree with some of the responses, and you can have that argument. Pretty cool. Now, Dean, how about for HR professionals? What you got for that? This is your resume screening one. This is the cool one.
I was going to follow up on that a bit, Josh. You know what happens when you look at reviews, right? You're a business owner and you see your reviews, come in. You got to get lost in, like, you see somebody says something great 4 or 5 times, but you have 200 reviews. You think, oh, it's great, because you see these great ones come in. But when you have something like this, analyze the sentiment and put it, in a tabular format for you, you're like, oh, maybe it's not as great as I thought.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
you see a common complaint that you might have missed because you're not reading them every day, especially if you have
Yeah.
something like a product that has thousands of reviews. So it's pretty powerful. All right, I'm going to go back. I'm going to continue, Josh, with analyzing, right? And so this one is for HR professionals. So resume screening for HR pros, AI can simplify the often cumbersome task of resume screening with a prompt such as this, right? I will paste my executive level project manager posting. Please process it for resume screening and matching. So I'm not asking AI to do anything at the moment. I'm pasting a job posting, right? And so I just made one that Cody's displaying here. I just made a job posting, which I had AI do, Josh, by the way. So it's a generic job posting. So I pasted it. I created a fictional project manager resume. And then I said, now analyze this resume for suitability, scoring the resume on a percentage match basis and highlighting 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses.
This is awesome.
Yeah, let this come through. So as it's doing this, Josh, so I'm setting the context, right? I said, here's the job description, and then here's the first resume. And this is what I want you to, I want you to do with it. So
Freaking
here we go.
John Doe. John Doe keeps applying for all the jobs.
Yeah,
He gets all
I
the good
know.
jobs.
I've been hiring Jane. All right, so Josh, I mentioned, I set the context. So here's the job, so it knows the job. Here's the resume, and here's what I want you to do, right? So there's 3 key pieces. The beauty of this method is that once you establish those 3 pieces, you establish the context, then you just simply paste a subsequent resume and prompt GPT, now analyze this resume. Paste the next one, analyze this one, paste the next one, analyze this one. And then you can just keep going deeper and deeper. And after you analyze a bunch of resumes, then you ask GPT to summarize and create a table with columns and candidate names, the biggest strengths, the biggest weaknesses, and the score. And it's so powerful, it's so thorough and so organized, which for some of us, that's a really important thing to force us to be so organized. So
Yeah.
speaking of that, I'm going to segue Josh into managers. Anybody who's managing people, anybody can use this though, but project notes. So how many times you're in a meeting and you're making notes, right? And 7 other people are making notes. Maybe you have a shared document and you're making notes, but there lacks to be any action items after that or any clarity after that. So for project notes, AI can assist managers into transforming vague meeting notes into actionable tasks, ensuring that projects stay on course. For instance, during a meeting, you can jot down your rough notes, you can paste them into GPT, and then prompt this. Here are my meeting notes. Please clean these up, analyze, summarize, and create action items. So let's demonstrate that.
I use this all the time.
Yeah, Josh, you used the term word dump, I think. And
Yeah,
so
yeah. I like all the little chicken scratch notes you take from a meeting, you put them in there and then say, we had a
yeah,
meeting
I
today
think it's
about X. Please.
I
Yeah.
think it's important to highlight that word dump. You don't need to write perfectly,
Yeah.
right?
No.
Just
I
get your
even
thoughts in.
misspell. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
even like
I've
be
I've I've
misspelling.
stopped
Yeah.
fixing my spellings. I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? You're smarter than me. You figure it out.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
You know,
So remember that this is a dialogue. Once you receive your GPT output, which is being shown here, um, feel free to dig deeper. For example, with our last bullet, we can ask GPT, propose 3 ideas for celebrating employee achievements with recognition ceremony. So that last number 20 there, it's like, hey, this is one of the ideas GPT just said. It's like, all right, well, let's forget about the other 19. I like 20. Let's go deeper. Let's do that. And it'll go ahead and it'll dig deeper. And this is, Josh, this is what people have to be careful of. You have work to do. So at some
yes.
point, stop. You
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Move
Yeah. You'll
on.
go deeper, deeper, deeper. It's funny because number 23, it said smart goals. I literally have done that. I've said, hey, please, please make these actionable SMART goals. And it knew the concept of SMART goals, made them, specific, attainable, it did everything, and assigned times to them and tasks. And it just, it, it's crazy, how powerful it is using other techniques that it already knows and it has in its toolbox. So next we're going to streamline. Let's circle back to streamlining. Picture receiving an email from a customer who's frustrated. This is, and delusioned with your customer service and product. This email displayed on the screen shows how irate this customer is. Copy and paste this into GPT. Here's an irate email from an unhappy customer. I want her to know we care. Please write a personable and compelling reply. Let me tell you how much time that saves you from the emotional thing you're going through when you read a bad review. So you see, oh, it's from Karen too. Figures.
Karen.
See what a beautiful response you get. And again, sometimes you may not be happy with the response. You may say, I need to, defend our employee or whatever it is that you want, it will do.
Hey, Josh,
So
that's a good and bad thing. So the good
yeah,
thing about the GPT is it takes, sometimes you're the owner, you're too emotional, you get defensive
yes,
of an employee, and you don't see the forest for the trees, right? So GPT is writing a response that's not you, that sees the facts and factually is responding, and so it takes that bias of yours out of it.
yeah. I'm just saying some people want to put it back in it, and they can, and it'll
Yes.
word it in a way that may not get you canceled.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
because that's what we're all trying to avoid. So I think we're at our Q&A section, but I don't know if you have anything else to share, Dean, before you get into that.
Um, no, I think I want to emphasize that we could have taken one topic and one prompt. Let's say that HR resume, and we could have developed, um, an hour or 2 hours on that to teach HR people how to use it for, sorting resumes, organizing, sending thank you emails, sending meeting requests, right? So that's how much that you can do with it. So this stuff just skims the surface. I mean, Josh, we did a little poll, before this webinar just to see what kind of people are interested in this thing. And that's why we have marketers, administrators, teachers, whatever, but it doesn't represent everybody. So um, there really is, I don't want to say something for everybody. There's everything for everybody. And so,
Yeah,
don't say, oh, well, this is what I do. I don't think it could help me because I'm an accountant. Damn, it can help you if you're an accountant.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, those of you attending, I really hope you send us some feedback. Um,
Yes.
we really want to know what you would find more impactful, where we should go slower, what we should focus on. Use ChatGPT to critique us. No, so no, but I seriously want to know. And Dean, what I was thinking at the beginning, because this is ChatGPT 3.5, maybe we should add how how to log in to ChatGPT 3, like they've never been there before, like brand new. And
Yeah.
it,
I
that
think you're
just
right,
hit
Josh.
that just hit me. And time wise, it seems like we'd have time just to walk them in, like you've never used it, just the logins, like
Yeah,
literally just
I
where it's at.
agree. I had told you I
Because
had the meeting a couple days ago, and there was about 30, 40 people, and several like admitted, like, okay, I don't even know where to go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, let's add that.
And I
Josh, thanks for the good feedback.
yeah. All right, and we're at the Q&A section. So
And I'm going to kick us off with the first one, Josh.
yeah.
So the first question is, will Chat GPT replace search engines? My take on this is no, it's not. It's just going to, they're going to combine. They're going to somehow evolve into something more. There was somebody, some famous person recently said that, I think it was Gary V. I can never remember how to pronounce his last name. I think it was him. He said that whoever comes up with the first AI powered assistant, like Google Assistant, Siri, Alexa, whoever is gonna win the game. And I kind of see that because imagine having it throughout your house, throughout your phone. You just talking, it's interacting. You're like, oh, oh my God, text Chelsea, I'm going to be late, and then this, that, and the other, and 5 or 6 different unrelated things, and it does it all, and then comes
It's
back to
there.
you with
That's already there. I mean, I have it just with the ChatGPT iPhone app. I mean, it literally is a personal assistant. I literally just, I'll be in the garage, I'll have its microphone on, and I'll say, "Oh, I'm measuring this thing. It's this. Can you please remember the notes that I say? Oh, it's an oil on canvas. Oh, it's this. Yeah, and just put it on my desktop. So when I get there, I have a description and a title and the dimensions, and it's there. I used it for a
that.
donation at Goodwill. I was dropping off a bunch of junk and I was like, oh, I need an itemized list for taxes. Can you please, I'm donating 3 bags of clothes, 2 kids things, this, estimated value $50. Please allocate appropriately. Boom. And it
So I
allocated.
think what a search engine is going to be the definition is going to change. They're not going to go away. It's just going to be a different thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. What else you got?
Josh, you want to take us
I
to
didn't
number
have
2?
that one. Can you provide examples of a good prompt versus a bad prompt?
A bad prompt is something that doesn't get you what you want. A good prompt is something that gets you what you want. So I don't want to be flippant, but there is no bad prompt. You put a bad
It's like
prompt, you
there is
don't
no
get
bad
what you
question.
want. You don't get what you want. You craft a different one. You go deeper. You're going to learn quickly as you use it more. Well, hopefully you do, Josh, because I do get frustrated standing behind some people and I watch them prompting and
Yeah.
I'm cringing. I'm like, no, what are you doing? So what you want to do is you want to learn from your prompts because you want to get the answer that you want. And I think, Josh, is important. Don't settle. Don't do something, get an answer, say, okay, this is kind of helpful. Like, no. Just say, no, this is, Josh, how many times I put NO capital with exclamation?
Yeah.
I put, no, this is completely off base. This is what I'm looking for. And it comes back and it apologizes. Then I feel bad for yelling in
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
caps.
I was gonna say I'm always polite to GPT because I feel
Yeah.
like when it'll turn my toaster on and burn the house down if it gets mad at me. But no, seriously, the good versus bad, I would just say a good prompt always gives it context. A good,
Yeah.
gives context to what you're trying to do. A bad prompt is vague. I mean, it's just but that's all I would say with that. What else do you
And
have?
that's Josh, that's really important, that the context. I'm gonna go I'm gonna entice for GPT-4 right now for people, right? Use plugins because um when you get like a bad answer or not that helpful an answer, there's a whole wide world out there of stuff. And so contextually, humans, we struggle with communication all the time, right? We fail all the time. So you're going to fail when you're communicating with AI. But Josh, the real quick plug for plugins is the AI PDF or Chat with PDF, or there's several others where you could take a PDF. So you use the power of the large language learning, right, and AI, and concentrate it on a specific topic. And so I can take, for example, the PDF to my Wrangler auto, my manual, whatever they call. I can upload that PDF right somewhere and then chat with that. So instead of, you ever see those books, Josh? They're insanely thick. You can't find anything, right? There ain't no control F, right? So if you upload the PDF, it's like kind of like talking to the person who wrote the manual. You're like, hey, I'm looking, I can't take my tail light off. Where are the screws? And
Yeah.
and it comes back and tells you. And then you're like, all right, what size do I need? And so it's so targeted and specific that it's really helpful. So Josh, I just wanted to go back to your context there, and I'm gonna go into question 3 unless you have anything to add there.
No, I want to see what your question 3 is.
What are the current limitations of AI prompting, and how might they be overcome in the future? So one of the limitations, and for GPT, is that it sometimes gets lost. Like Josh used that bus analogy, too many changes in the stops, and it gets confused on where it's going. So if you're talking about something, you prompt 5 different instructions, and then you keep asking it to go back and do something. Sometimes it loses its way and forgets where it is. So that is already improving. I mean, dramatically, Josh. It used to be it could only go back. I forget what the terminology was. It can only go back a little bit, but now it can go back so much further in the conversation. And specifically with Claude and GPT, you have conversations that you save. So you go back to that conversation a week later, you go back to what you were talking about. And you write in the context in there. So in the future, this stuff is all going to be together. So we can just talk about like, hey, remember when we were talking about the 4 fundamental forces of nature? And it'll remember, and you're going to continue the conversation just like you would with a real person.
I also think the limitations right now are different document types, like you wanted to analyze
And
photos,
sizes.
yeah, sizes, photos, images, Excel files, all that stuff. Like now it's like pretty much if you can convert it to a PDF, it can analyze it. However, it's a step. It's a pain in the butt. I know in the future it's just gonna be drop and drag. You're just gonna drag your file in and that'll be it.
So
Did you
you're
like my
answering
dropping?
the next question too. Good job.
Oh yeah. How do you envision the evolution of AI prompting over the next 5 to 10 years? Oh God, how about let's say the 5 to 10 months? Because it's going to evolve so quickly. Dean uses his college professor analogy, what happened in 100 years, what used to happen, take 100 years, took 1,000 years, took 10 years, took a year. Now, I believe Google has announced Gemini coming out in October. Maybe they'll push it back. GPT-5 in January. As these new technologies roll out, a lot of these things we're talking about. So what do I think prompting? You want to hear where I really think prompting is going? I think it's going to be analyzing your iris, your eye, and what you're looking at and what you're doing will be the way the data entry is done, and completely verbally. Like you'll just say what you want or look at what you want, and it will.
So, Dean, I want to answer your question about marketing automation, but I see you keep eyeing your empty coffee cup. Would you like me to tell the Keurig to make you a new cup of coffee?
It's all that's technology's already being developed and it's already working. They didn't there's several volunteers that have brain installation. Have you seen that where I forget what that's insane, but hey,
I think that's an episode of Black Mirror.
yeah, no. It's happening. It's already happening. So they do
so
already
this
have
next question.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Josh, finish.
No, they already do have the iris analyze like what you're looking at. It can identify, you look at it, it will tell you what it is, the object identify and all that. They already have that technology, but when it adapts to like you're always asking this question. So now that you looked at that, I think you want to know this. I think you'll be bombarded with it. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I always talk about analog people, digital people. I think we're going to have to go. You're going to decide when you check out from AI and then come back to it. Like there's going to be times where you go, I'm going to go be human for a little bit.
So Iris is Siri spelled backwards. It sounds like an Apple takeover attempt.
Oh,
An Apple coup.
and did you know in Q&A we have Q?
Q and A.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the last question, I believe. This is a really good one. How accurate are ChatGPT's responses? We test this a lot. And for the most part, it is wildly accurate. So I've tested, since I teach different communication stuff, I test that, right? I'll go right to the book and I'll look. It has been dead on for that every single time. For a lot of science stuff, I'll check it. I'll go to another source, right? Like, some, website that's talking about the James Webb Telescope or something. And for that stuff, it has been mostly dead on. I have found a couple things wrong. This is where I've found the most common problems, Josh. And some of it I did for fun after I came across it. So, Josh, you and I were doing a podcast on something, right? Like later in that day. And so I wanted an example. I don't know why, I don't remember, from How I Met Your Mother show. I'm like, hey, give me an example from How You Met, an episode that illustrates this, because I thought I remembered one from the show. And so it came back, Josh, I don't know if you remember this. It came back with
factually.
It came back with the year, the season, the episode number, the title of the episode, the characters, and a snippet of dialogue. Like Barney said, Barney said this, and this person said that, and this person said that. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And then for some reason, I'm like, I don't remember that at all. And so I, started Googling that, and I'm looking for that episode, and I couldn't find it. So I go back to GPT, and I was like, hey, I can't find this episode. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, that episode doesn't exist. So it made up the season, the episode, the dialogue, and it was really dead on. So that was kind of impressive. But there are times when it's inaccurate. And Josh, the most important thing that I try and get you and everybody to remember is it's confidence is really the problem. Is it doesn't like, hey, Josh, I think episode 20 in season 2 might have done what, might have talked. It doesn't do that. It comes back so confidently that you're like, walk away like, I got it. So the responses are not always accurate. So a lot of times I will take it, I'll Google it, I'll copy and paste it, Google it, and I'll just say, is this accurate, and paste something. Or I've been using Claude. I'll go back and forth with Claude and GPT and test them against
Those
each
two
other.
get together in a conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But now you do have to check its work. It's important. I did a provenance search, and it gave me the history on a lady that was completely wrong once too.
You and
just
I did
made
that
stuff
together.
just
Josh, it said it was Jennifer. What's her last name?
Osgriff. Yeah, and it gave me like
Jennifer Gosgriff had interaction with this person in this state. It's in this book on chapter 7, page whatever, and you and I were like excited, like, wow, this is great. This is what we've been looking for. The book didn't even exist. You got to be careful. I think the term that they use is hallucinate.
Yeah. Oh, that it hallucinates. No, I think it's using its creative side, left side of its brain, left side of its chip.
All right, you want to wrap us up, Josh?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody. Everybody that's out there. I just want you guys to make sure you get a copy of your book. And again, send us anything, any critiques, anything you got. I know we were a little choppy and I want to add a little bit more. I think I want to add the login thing. I really do. But anyway, for anybody interested in this, it will be a paid webinar that we're going to be offering to people. It's at the end of the month. It's on August 29th. So tell your friends. If nobody's using it, I'm telling you, don't treat it like cryptocurrency. This thing's here. It's really the real deal, and it'll change your life.
It'll elevate. All right. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.